same colour.
Do you want your shirt tucked in like that?
Why not? There's nothing uncool about
Oh, really?
a tucked in t-shirt.
You don't like that, Graham?
I
Like my style.
just asking.
What are they seeing here? Are they seeing knees? I feel like
seeing knees?
I feel like they're
Knees.
getting knees in the. They're getting
Welcome
full head.
to the 25th Interstice podcast, which I think is actually kind of exciting because that's a quarter of the way to 100. Thank you for being here for the 25th anniversary episode.
I thought you were gonna say he's 25 years old.
Oh, how old are you, Greg?
Should we go into all
No, let's not talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Also, we've got a side of miso here. That's his stage name,
Stage name.
known otherwise as Dan, and we're gonna do it a little different. We're not gonna do question and answer today, or should we?
Do you have questions and answers?
I have some questions on the laptop. We'll decide that later. It's gonna be a wild card in the second half of the show,
Yeah, as you can see, we're on the floor as opposed to
Yes.
being on the table.
or you may hear if you're on Spotify or
Oh,
iTunes.
yes,
if
we
you are
need to-
treating this as an actual.
I need to consider all that. Too.
So let's get into it. I think we should start with what's the exciting news of the summer? What are we going to do? Because it's summer vacation. Dan?
Yes, I'm going to Fukushima.
That's cool.
Fukushima Prefecture.
Have you ever traveled there before?
I've been to Iwaki, been to one city, and then I'm going up to a different city, actual Fukushima city. And I'm going to Aizu, which is known for its castles, and its Japanese, was it Nihonshu, sake?
Oh, nice. Do you like sake?
Yeah, big fan.
You do? All right.
I think he's,
yeah?
I remember him saying he's a pretty big fan of it as well.
I have a wonderful memory, you and I, Graham, when we had Japanese American who was like really stealthy in that way that we would go out with him and everybody would assume that he was a native, but not in any way. Although he was also fluent.
Talk about Ian.
Talking about Ian, and we went to Inokashira Park, and we had some awesome selections of sake.
There's a video.
There is a video. It's the Inokashira. I think that's like Kichijoji. It's Tokyo Unknown Kichijoji, if you want to check that out on the channel. And we went to some wicked like wings place, and then we got this sampler of all these different sakes, and he kept spilling it. It was really charming, actually. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that was the first time, or maybe only second, but I had like unfiltered, which is like, it's not clear. It's like milky.
Unfiltered Nihonshu.
Yeah.
Japanese. Yes, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like the first stage of the rice.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, like when they're polishing it down.
I literally have no idea how sake is made.
Yeah. It's like
at all, but
I learned that from a previous relationship. Yeah, when they talk about the purity, it's how much they husk the rice. I don't know if that's the right term for what's happening, but it's like how finely they've broken it down, and in that format, it retains the most husk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Most husk? Are you sure? I mean,
I'm
I'm
30% sure.
Graham has clearly studied this.
Yeah.
I haven't.
He's gonna school us.
But it's white. It's
Yeah.
just a white. It just seems like they left extra rice matter behind somehow. Doesn't seem like husk to me, is what I'm saying. But
Couldn't it be when they like husked it?
What does that mean?
It's when they shave it. It's when they shave the rice.
But then it might be brown though, wouldn't it? Because it'd be brown rice.
that's what I was thinking.
Is it brown rice though?
What?
No, but the husks are a little bit yellowy. I've seen like big piles of them in the countryside, and they're like yellowy.
I see. Well,
are you talking about husk or the outer layer of the
the
rice?
outer layer of the
I don't think that's
rice.
called husk.
Well, not
No, there
for
is
you. It isn't. But
There is
for
such
the
a thing as
truly
a husk.
cultured.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
husk of rice, is that not of the rice plant?
Yeah,
As opposed to the grain.
We can get lost in semantics.
Oh my god, is this what people are gonna watch? Wow, rice is.
No.
Yeah. Well, no. Okay. To be fair, you're probably right. But as I understood it from this previous relationship, something to do with how, maybe not the color, but how smooth it is, has to do with like how
I think it's
finely.
the filtration process.
Oh.
All right.
No, I think it might be how it's filtered out.
All right. Let's.
I want to give
More
Dave something here. What is
Yeah, you just throw me a bone. No, you don't have to.
He thinks he learned something.
I thought I did. I thought I learned something about how smoothly it goes down. The smoothness of the flavor, the flavors.
Just dirty wine.
Depends on how finely they've husked it.
There must be something like
But
that.
no, I don't know that well. But in any event, I enjoy it in this form where it's more,
The milky version.
The milky version is good, even if it has like little hunks of rice in there. Well, I don't know that this one did, but have you ever had amazake? Okay.
Yes,
right?
I've had amazake.
Okay, so
it's
but
terrible.
in amazake, it's not.
I hate
it's
amazake.
Not rice.
I hate amazake.
Those are lumps of. I hate to have this on camera because I don't know what I'm saying, but it's lumps of like the bacteria or whatever, the bacillum or something like that.
Yeah.
That they use. What's the word? I just want to Google it now.
Sure, yeah, go for it. We can carry this on. But it's hunks of bacterial matter.
I think
Like cheese.
In amazake,
Is it sort of like
the culture,
cheese?
the
A
culture,
culture.
the culture they use for
it's
that.
the stuff you add.
Bifidus digestivus.
Sounds right.
That sounds extremely scientific.
That's from a yogurt commercial. I'm sure.
Yeah, amazake, which is you said you hate it though. What?
I'm not a fan. Yeah, it's really sweet, and I don't like sweet drinks.
I like it. Have you had it when it's hot?
I've had it hot and
Okay,
cold,
when have you had it when it's hot?
When have I had it when it's hot?
That's right.
I mean, it was always served to me at school, so I'm assuming it was like an appropriate time of year.
So
in the winter.
So this is a thing. Like when I've had it, I've made videos for this top 5 places to explore in Tokyo, or just Yanaka Ginza Shotengai.
Yeah.
They have like a street side bar. Basically, you can sit on like milk crates and stuff. And there's this sweet little old lady. You can tell she's a lifer. She's been there for ages, and she serves amazake during like the fall, winter. And when you drink it when you're outside and it's like cool and crisp,
I've never
that
had it
heat.
outside. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
always had it inside.
Obviously, the flavor is another thing entirely, but to have something warm just generally when you're in that cold weather is really, really nice. And that's how I had it. I think both times I've had it is when I went there.
When you had it though, was it really sweet?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is a quite
I
sweet
think
drink.
that was the reason why I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I think it's too sweet for me. I
So
prefer the.
What did you find?
Dave was right. Basically,
It's
it
husk.
is. They are little lumps of kind of rice, but it's koji. It's called koji,
Koji.
and it's rice that's been inoculated with a fermentation culture.
Oh, this is amazake.
Aspergillus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those little lumps though are the koji, I believe.
If you can you check what makes Nihonshu more
Cloudy.
or less opaque? Now we can know that officially since we have.
Raw.
Can you pull that up
Access to Google.
with the Googles? So yeah, I like that. Do you have it? Do you have a traditional seasonal treat that you do like?
In which season?
Oh, that's up to you now. You could do.
Ask me specific
I don't know.
questions.
Let's say winter. Do you have a winter one?
Winter treat. Just anything. Any winter food.
In Japan.
In Japan, nabe.
Nabe,
Have you guys
the
had
hot pot?
The hot pot, Japanese hot pot. It's like a simple soup base, and you can make any base that you want with vegetables, like winter vegetables, negi,
Okay.
mushrooms, carrots, some meats, some fish, whatever you want in there. It's lovely.
Sounds
Lovely in the water.
hearty.
It's really hearty and it's super healthy as well. If you're
Yes,
like
hey.
if you're even if you're bulking or cutting or like into fitness.
It's suited. I mean, it sounds like it.
Have you ever seen sumo wrestling? Or
Yeah,
like
sure.
the training that sumo wrestlers do? One of the things they eat a lot is this thing called chanko nabe. So that's a variation of the nabe. But chanko nabe is eaten with a ton of rice. So
Sure.
that's how they get the calories.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that'll be my winter thing.
All right. Graham, do we have
Grain solids.
grain solids?
Yeah.
So it's like
There's just leftover grain solids
so
after the fermentation process. It's
pieces
usually
of the rice when shaved.
it's filtered. No,
Filtration.
through a,
It is the filtration.
it's filtered through a broader mesh than usual, so
so
you
it
get
lets
really
some of it
fine
through.
rice particles left behind.
Okay, so it is the filtration of the rice that creates this, like, whether it's cloudy or clear.
Right.
Okay.
Did you prefer the cloudy one to the clear one?
It was it's good as an experience.
Right.
I think at that time I was like, this is the shit. I would do this every time, but because it was new.
It's sweeter too, so it's got.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which is different for me too, because I usually like the karakuchi. I like a nice dry.
The dry.
Is my
nihonshu,
preference.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to the.
I think I'm with you on that one. I've had really sweet nihonshu. It's an interesting drink, I find, because it is very varied in flavor.
Yeah.
Like whiskey tastes like whiskey. You know, there's that distinct whiskey taste, right?
Yeah.
Whereas nihonshu, or what we call sake in the West, but it's called nihonshu in Japan, actually has one of the most diverse flavor profiles. There's some that are actually sweet.
Totally.
And some that are
Yeah.
actually very not sweet, like very bitter, very dry.
Yeah, when I've enjoyed when they make it, visually appealing. You go into a restaurant and they'll show them across that spectrum.
Right,
They
right,
basically
yeah,
have it
yeah.
like that. They're from left to right, and then of course you get ones in the middle that you can choose from.
It's very diverse.
Yeah.
Probably like wine, more like your
totally.
like a fruit wine than your spirits, because spirits are more narrow.
And man, that's one thing I really love in Japan is the presentation.
Yeah.
They're often served in like these earthen little, and I know that there's a correct
love
name
that.
for this, but yeah, like an earthen little clay pot thing, and maybe that's then resting in a bed of ice, and that comes out in a little wood block. It really elevates getting hammered.
I only know the little cups they serve it in. You know when you drink.
Yeah, what are
something,
those? What are
The
those?
things are called chokko.
Choco.
Chokko, like one
Chokko.
chokko is one shot glass.
Okay.
It's basically a Japanese shot glass.
Yeah.
That's called a chokko. I forget what the tall thing is
Right.
called. The thing that they heat or cool it in.
The Urdu.
Urdu.
No. That's the language spoken in Pakistan.
And India.
I
yeah.
learned that. Is it in India too?
I think it's
Okay.
India. It's North India, South
Okay.
Pakistan.
All
Urdu.
right. Yeah. I knew slightly
so
different,
random.
but I learned that recently. We were doing presentations, and we have a teacher new at my school from Pakistan, and
Okay.
I'm learning the culture. They have. I'm gonna butcher it. It was like gomanjam, and I finally discovered what it was, which I love from Indian cooking, which I discover is also very popular in Pakistan, which is those syrupy balls.
Gulab jam.
Gulab
jam.
Gulab jam.
Gulab jam.
Okay, there
Yeah.
you, man, I
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
love them. But I found
With sugar syrup is
with
Where do
sugar
you
syrup.
Wait, where do you eat that in Japan?
That's apparently in Scuba City, but I haven't been there.
I've never seen it in Japan.
Right, that's the thing. No matter
never
where
seen
you
it in
go,
Japan.
I haven't found any. But she was telling
Good
me,
effort.
yeah. What I was like gumon.
Gumbo.
Gumon jam.
Gumbo.
And how did you say it?
Gulab jam.
Oh,
Yeah, it's alright. It's kind of close.
might as well
Pretty
be.
good.
Kind of close.
Yeah, maybe that's underappreciated just how many types you think all this Japanese food, but you get, whether it's Indian. Today, we went to, like, for example, Incredible Burgers. Although
Well.
we speculated it was
Well.
more that the burgers presentation and like appearance, it was huge,
Yeah.
voluminous swaths of hat.
It was massive. It was big. It was bigger than
It's
all of our
big.
heads. It was
Yeah.
bigger than our. It was a humongous burger.
So in that way, you're excited, but I do objectively agree that the actual flavoring of the
yeah.
patty
Yeah,
was lacking.
It was lacking.
It's more just beef flavor,
Yeah.
but no real seasoning.
Yeah, I feel like they even missed just like salting it enough.
Yeah.
Like I think beef needs a lot of salt in general,
Mm.
but they I just feel like they even
Totally.
skimmed on
totally. But that could be a palate preference of the natives on this island.
I disagree because I think Japanese people love salt.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they put
Okay.
soy sauce on everything, and everything
That's
is salty.
true.
Like
That's
Japanese food is one of the saltiest foods I've ever had.
I find that's one of the greatest contradictions. I find Japanese people appealing to out of convenience, where they talk about strength of flavors, particularly with sweets. where they're like, oh, I can, that's such a Western sweetness.
Right.
But then you eat something that they have, and it's like way more sugar in that. I'm like, that was just convenient narratively that we're like this gentle elven race.
Like the food in Japan is hyper salty, it's their favorite flavor. When you go to like ramen restaurants, they serve ramen, right? And one of the side things that they serve with ramen, like like sauces and like chili flakes and stuff, is soy sauce, because some people actually add soy sauce to the ramen afterwards. So yeah, it's
there might even be, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of these places are really cool to go into. They're often like not quite all you can eat, but you go in and you're making choices regarding the ramen, where it would be, do you want thin, medium, or thick noodles?
Yeah, I love that.
Do you want like fatty, like how
thick
do you want the
how do you want it cooked, like really
katpai,
watakai,
on that spectrum. And then I think even saltiness might be a factor in that.
Maybe actually.
But I do know that they like, how oily do you want it? That's like another question that gets asked at those places. So I wonder if salt is included.
Have you ever been to a restaurant like that, the ramen restaurant?
No, I've never customized my ramen.
So they sometimes come out with 5 different options, and it was really daunting at first when I moved to Japan, because I had no idea how to answer any of these. But after you sort of know, because they're actually simple terms after a while. It's actually quite fun to be able to customize your own thing, so I think it's really cool. Cool way that they have it here for ramen.
But you're right, though, it can be daunting when you go and you're like, I just want ramen.
Yeah, can I have a ramen? But from the picture, they're like, but how hard do you want the noodles? I don't know, what do you recommend? The middle one? Like, how do you want the egg? How do you want the thing?
There's only so many daijobus that can progress you through that conversation. Daijobu. Daijobu.
Cut it.
I know what that means.
Yeah, they're like, all right, just check the box.
It can be daunting, but it's good. It's really, really good way.
Yes. Now the saltiness, although actually no, I don't want to be fair. We won't just counterbalance everything we say. You know that this is a little bit tongue in cheek. We're just having fun. But Kyoto flavors are as light.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
It is hot, sweaty, thrusting down on Donna. She does not like it. So Kyoto flavors, very light. We can all agree. We had a bit of a technical difficulty there. Lost about 3 minutes. Yes, we'll just jump in. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
We lost about 4 minutes.
We didn't lose. A frightening amount of footage.
Life-changing conversations relating to tonkotsu, but
it's true.
There's not that can be done. There's not that can be done.
Exactly.
So, but then moving along for plans.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was talking about. So this is cool. This is exciting for me. I was talking to one of my brothers the other day. Can't remember, it's like one of my my nephew's like birthdays, and I've always been interested, wanted to have him out here, and I was like, how will we make that happen? And not sure exactly we got on the topic, but both of my brothers are really into motorbikes, and they each, like when we were younger, they had like dirt bikes and all that stuff, but nowadays it's more like they just like riding, and so they more have like cruising style bikes. And so idea popped into my head, and it would fit really well creatively. Like I would get all the gear for this together. That if I got my bike license, I was saying how it's really, really incredible in Japan. The whole topography, like the up and down, the narrow roads. I've always said as I drive around in my little K car, it would be killer to do a trip here, a bike trip. And so I was like, hey, would you ever like visit if we did a bike trip? And he was like, yeah, that'd be incredible. And just the idea of that, you take 2 weeks, I get both my brothers over, we rent some bikes, and we, go around like the coast of Japan, see the whole thing, duck into the middle when you see something that you really want to do. And I brought it up with Drew, and Drew being like, not that I couldn't, make my way in basic day-to-day with Japanese, but Drew's N1 and just like hyper guide, So I asked him, and he said he would be super interested. So that's something maybe in the next 2 years ago. I would get a couple of GoPros, little low profile computer that I could bring with me. You just rent bikes. I'd have to figure out what is the most efficient way to get the license.
Does Drew have a license?
I don't know that he does. Oh, I think he did in Canada. He used to ride in Canada. So, yeah, I was thinking that would be a sweet, sweet trip to, actualize at some point.
Which coast would you do? East or west?
Would you do the whole thing?
The
Like,
whole thing.
go down one coast and then back up the other?
Both coasts.
Because,
Can
like...
you do that in 2 weeks?
Well, here's the thing. Like, in a single day, you
Yeah.
could go from Ibaraki up to Akita.
You can?
Yeah, I did that in a single day. Like, I drove 8 hours and I went from Ibaraki up to Akita. And when I thought of that, I was like, well, what, 2 weeks? I mean, you could get around. It would also be a question of, like, how efficiently do you want to do that?
But those 2 weeks would be almost 2 weeks of riding.
Almost, yeah. It would be like you ride and then you park
Maybe,
for the night.
yeah, maybe stop somewhere.
You got it.
For that, but you wouldn't really be exploring the area.
No, you'd be like, it would be really the ride itself was the thing.
Okay,
but
that
then,
makes sense, yeah.
I mean, you can adjust. You could be like, oh, let's be a little bit more explorative here. We might spend an extra day.
Mm.
I would try and take some extra time to make it less rushed, more explorative. But you can travel, you can cover so much ground in Japan in a short period of time. Like, you can be at one end of the country the next day, you go like for 24 hours or something.
No, actually, now that you mentioned that, you are right, because when we drove to Sendai, I think we went from Ibaraki to Sendai, which is halfway from here to, Akita.
Okay.
And it took about 3 hours on the highway.
Okay.
So it's really, really quick, actually. Yeah.
Totally. So that was something I was thinking about. I'd be really excited. My brothers, neither of them have actually visited Japan yet.
Oh.
So and they both have families, and it's a complex
hard,
thing.
yeah.
But entice them out with the right activity, and I think it would make a lot of sense. And what a hell of a trip.
All three of you bikers.
Well, they are. I'm not. That's the problem. And I have a bunch of like horror stories when I was young. They were like that much older than me that it was like a 15-year-old teaching a 12-year-old to do anything. So pretty useless. Whether it was like me popping a clutch, going all the way down our driveway and back without changing gears. So I thought I really had it, but I was just like, and like first for like the entire way, and they're just like, you're destroying my bikes. Yeah, like I was, wow, I did it. You're an idiot. More physical abuse. It was, not a glorious time. I hit a fence at one point and went full over the top of it. Yeah, it was brutal. But now I'm beyond those days. I was talking to Drew though, and he said that it's a bit of a nightmare potentially in Japan, where it would be straightforward in Canada. So maybe it's something I also get done on a trip when I went back there.
The license.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hold on. I think a friend of mine does have a license, and it actually cost him quite a lot of money. And yeah, because I think he wanted to. I don't know. Maybe we've spoken about this in.
No.
Not about bikes, but for foreigners doing driving tests in Japan, it's really difficult, and just regular cars. Sometimes they fail you for the sake of failing you. Because you haven't already taken it.
I've heard that. Yeah, it needs to be. You got to take it twice.
Some people you have to take it twice, not because you can't drive, but because you can't pass the first time.
It's the way it's done
in Japan, and it's really bizarre. So for English people like Brits, it's really easy, and I think Australians, because we don't need to take a test,
and Canadians,
as well. Yeah. So for us, it was really easy. But have you got a driver's license?
I have an international permit. Yeah.
Right. So, but if you were to go get it done, you would have to take the actual test.
I think so, yeah.
Ibaraki's okay. Our prefecture's quite friendly, so they do let people pass first time, but some prefectures, minimum 2 times, some of them maybe more, 3 or 4 times. But anyway, if you want to avoid that, the other way to do it is to go to driving school.
Yeah.
And then that's really expensive.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a couple $1,000s. But doing the driving school means you pass almost first time. So when my friend went to get his motorcycle license, he did the driving school route because his friend took the test 10 times to pass.
Oh God,
yeah,
that's brutal.
Yeah,
I would probably with biking. I probably would want to actually take.
I think you should take the driving school if you're doing
the school because I'd want to actually learn truly how to properly ride the bike.
But if you do the school, you more or less guaranteed to pass because the schools tend to be attached to the driving centres. So they know they got your record. They got your record. They know that you're the ones taught you. A failure on your part reflects badly on them to some extent.
It also funnels people through the system, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, "I didn't go to our school, tough ditties."
Right, exactly.
Fail.
Yeah. So he took it like that, and it cost a couple $1,000s to do.
Isn't it also a lot of time?
Yeah, it can be. But if you have the choice to take a crash course or
Right.
no.
So my girlfriend was saying that it took her a month or something like that to do it, but she was like, it was like full time.
Yes. Yeah.
8 hours a day or something. Like, what is this?
So that's
So you
so.
can take a crash
How
course.
is there that much to learn?
There is not.
No.
Yeah,
There is not. It's like that. You need to prepare for 10 years before you cook the rice.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, and
All the eel. Before you can skewer the eel.
You just look at it in a room alone with it for ages, contemplating it.
Yeah. But it's doable.
Yeah.
And it's affordable. Well, it depends how much you want to invest in this. So.
Yeah, sure. So, whether it was Canada or Japan, get the license, figure that out, and then go on this wild, adventure around Japan on bikes. I think would be really, really, really cool. I would like to do that. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time, and it'd be a good way too, where I feel like, not that there's anything that compels me, but like to really, get to top to bottom, like see the whole of Japan, really experience that whole thing. Although I don't think you would find, unsurprisingly, like most Japanese people don't. They'd be like, wow, you've been around a lot more Japan than I have.
It's true. Foreigners in Japan tend to have seen more of Japan than Japanese people in Japan.
Yeah, I like it's.
I don't know, that's how I.
Oh, totally. And like in most cases, when I speak to people at different jobs, I'm like, where'd you grow up? And they're like, over there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Did you come from anywhere? Nope.
Have you been anywhere?
Yeah. No. Although that it changes obviously when you get to Tokyo a little bit, because people will migrate there for work. They're like, they needed a job. But I feel like then it compounds the likelihood that you haven't left Tokyo if you were born there, because you're like, why would I leave?
Right.
I was here, the sweetest spot to start.
Yeah.
And so then you continue to do so.
Yeah, a lot of people who are from Tokyo, they end up outside of Tokyo because they're placed there, I find, from their company.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true, because they're all shuffled around.
Yeah, because that is a common thing in Japan, that they do get moved around. But
what about you, Graham?
What?
Are you pulled roughly rude away?
I'm awake.
We got Fukushima. We got years down the road. I might.
But
do a bike
I actually don't have a plan. You're talking about years down the road for years. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't have to be now.
Oh wait,
no
what?
plans?
That would be a couple of years probably.
Oh
before
no,
I did that.
I know. But I thought our question was, what are we doing this?
Oh yeah, it is.
Sure.
It is. But I took a detour.
But this week you're going to Kyoto.
I am. I'm gonna do Kyoto. I'm going to possibly do a little bit of camping to get away from people, to be safe.
Oh really?
And
Mosquitoes.
oh,
I have a camping trip as well planned. I forgot about that.
All right, let's talk about that. Where are you going camping?
Oh boy, I forgot the name of the prefix.
Boy.
Here. What's the one?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Is it near here?
No,
Tochigi?
it's south of Mount Fuji, south
Yakitori.
Is it chicken?
east, southeast of Mount
Southeast
Fuji.
of Mount Fuji.
Nagano?
Kanagawa.
No, you guys.
It's Kanagawa's. No, that's that region. I
That's
think
where
I know.
Yokohama is.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's where Yokohama is. But is it like known for its onsen culture and like
Okay,
it's like south of
That's
Yokohama?
That's
Hakone?
Hakone.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's more southeast than that. Anyways,
Okay.
it's kind of near the ocean-ish.
Pull it up. Pull it up. I never get to say that.
Yeah.
So I wanna know where you're going. That sounds
Okay.
cool.
Yeah,
But it's
that-
southern, and you're going camping.
I'm going camping.
Yeah.
We had to buy a tent.
Oh,
We're not bringing sleeping bags. We're just gonna bring
no
my
need for that.
mats.
Create your own heat.
Heat will not be
A problem.
Yeah.
You're damn right it won't.
Yeah.
Not with this stallion. Yeah.
Thank you. Wait. What?
It's gone.
Also, wait, is it? Is it also called Aizu? No.
Surely it can't be.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Let's see.
This seems to be called Aizu, and I was like, wait a second, Aizu. When you said Aizu, that sounded very
Oh,
familiar.
that's easy.
Izu.
Easy.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it is south of Kanagawa, and it is called Izu.
Easy.
Is this? We won't tell them the exact
I
campsite.
actually don't
Put it in
know.
the description.
Oh, yeah, we'll get that. Okay, but these are the defining landmarks around. No, just kidding. We won't go into that detail. But that's awesome. You've never been, obviously.
That's right.
Have you been camping before?
Not in Japan.
Have you been camping before, Dave? In Japan?
never in Japan. The closest I've gotten to that was my trips up to Nikko, because it's like, well, actually that's not fair. It's actually when I've gone to Akita, because it's like
That's far away.
super out there.
Yeah.
Incredible fond memories of going there. But no, I would love to, and it's in my spirit. When I was like really much younger, when I was like 10 years old, I'd go on these like 7-day canoe trips with my faja.
Your faja?
Yes, and it was incredible memories for me with like, I don't know if it's like right to call them alpine lakes. I think that has to do with like the, you know, how high above, but like crystalline aquamarine water, then rimmed by beautiful pine trees leading to rocky snow-peaked slopes. It was like,
Yeah, that's just something that Canada has that you just can't get anywhere else.
it was really wonderful. But
That might have been an ignorant statement.
oh no, but I'd like to have that opinion.
I think America probably has
Yeah.
something like that too, but certainly not in the UK. Definitely not in Japan.
Japan has a like. Have you been to Nikko?
Yes.
Okay, their whole like
They don't have
rolling
lakes, though.
hills.
They don't have
Everything
lakes.
looks like
They don't
titties.
have.
It's big.
Look like
Mountains
breasts.
of big rolling. It's such a pleasing landscape.
Okay.
But when I was there, like the beautiful rivers that they have there.
Nikko does have a huge lake.
Does it have a big
It
huge?
does have a big huge
Okay.
lake. Yes, I remember, but you have to go a bit further out.
Okay.
It's not the obvious tourist spot. If you drive up the mountain, you'll find it.
I'm so it's that thing where it is different. Maybe you don't have quite that grandiose scale that you might find, but I'm eager to find some like beautiful, pristine, idyllic areas in Japan and camp there, because I love campfires. I love when you get to a place where there's very little light pollution and you get the stars at night. There's a wonderful drinking culture here. If you're by a lake, I have never swam in a Japanese lake. Like in summer lake activities are like the best in the world. Go down to the lake and swim in there. Have you ever swam in a lake?
Not in a lake, no.
Okay.
I feel like Japan covers the edges of all of their bodies of water with concrete, making everything unappealing. Lakes, rivers, ocean, just concrete, because they have too much concrete, I think.
And they need to do something.
Inject money into their economy.
I've done that in I don't know if it was a lake though. I think it just might have been a coastline beach.
Akita was like
Shimane.
beautiful white sand beach.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It is. It's really, there's my, a recommendation for people here. If you want to explore a part of Japan that is a little, if you mention it to people, it's also like the deepest lake in Japan as well, Tazawako. And it's beautiful, like the visibility, the cleanliness of it. Oh, it's gorgeous. And I had the pleasure of enjoying like quite a variety of weather when I was there, that we got like beautiful days, but then one of them was this torrential, like typhoon. We got a typhoon, and so in that kind of, that sort of mysterious atmosphere that creates, we drove around the outer ring, profoundly memorable.
Akita.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, I feel like Akita might be one of the most underrated, beautiful prefectures.
Oh,
in Japan.
dude, and we like to visit the girl's family at the time. They lived super boonies, and so we had to take like this little tiny personal train, and it's one little train. It arrives every hour, and it goes deep into because it's very mountainous, that region. You can see this on the video titled "It Always Felt Like Goodbye," because that's super light and happy. It goes into the mountains, and it was that's why I say it's different, because of I've seen like I described in Canada, but I'd never seen beauty like this ever before. Going into the mountains of Akita, I was like, this is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And even it had the interesting element to it that the architecture changed there as well. That there's so much snow in the winter, like meters of snow, that the houses have shaped their roofs that it's going to allow the snow to fall off.
Oh, yeah.
And exits are from the second floor of the home, because likely it will be buried up to that point.
That's awesome.
It was just like it struck something like fundamental and primal. The connection you felt to nature there was incredible.
Isn't Akita also known for its really good looking women?
It is. And that is where she was from. Yes. Yeah, it is. It's
had to point that out for people who are
that's true.
unfamiliar. It's called Akita Bijin.
Bijin, right? Yeah.
It's the Akita princess. Yeah.
So
Unlike the non
Ibaraki Butanika. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Boos is
Boos.
the Japanese
Boos.
word for ugly.
The boost.
Ibaraki
The boost. What would it? The
Boos.
Ibaraki. What is it? Baba is also like.
Is that?
It's like hag or whatever. The Baba.
That
Yaga.
is all we
Ibaraki
have.
gets so much crap from everyone.
Well,
But in my city,
we love
I
the
mean,
women.
where
We
is-
love all the women.
Love the women.
We don't judge.
No, nothing to do with women. Just the fact that
Oh.
Ibaraki is like the worst ranked prefecture in terms
In
of
every
beauty.
way.
In every way.
It's like desirability to live, the quality of women,
It's-
the educational system. I'm just kidding. We're a part of
We're a
that.
part of
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
We're the
no.
reason why it's so bad.
Yeah.
No,
No, there's a few, but then let's look at the bright side.
I actually think Ibaraki is
Dead
really
quiet.
I actually think Ibaraki is really nice to live.
Right.
Because
Right.
like Tokyo is a
Obviously.
great prefecture to visit, and
Right.
I lived in
Right.
Sapporo for 4 months, and I think it's a great prefecture.
I forget that.
Yeah, I
that
lived
you
there.
were up
I
there.
was in the city, right? But I don't want to live there again.
Oh.
I'm much more comfortable living in Mito because it's not that travel matters at all now, but it's close enough to Tokyo.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to Tokyo, it's really easy, dead
Yeah,
easy. Like
one
train
line.
every half an hour
Yeah.
to get to Ueno is 2 hours if on the slow
Mhm.
train, but 1.5 or 1 hour 15 on the fast train.
Mic check.
What
Yeah.
did you not like about Sapporo though?
We're
Is
good.
it good?
Yeah.
Continue.
No, it was just I just wasn't too comfortable living up there. It was really fun. It was a fun city, really fun city, really active, really great food. But it's a city I would visit again, 100%. But it's not
Okay.
really a city that I want to live. Whereas Ibaraki's, was really cheap to live in, really low cost.
Super low cost.
Dead cheap.
Yeah.
It was dead
Was
cheap.
it too urban then in Sapporo or something? Or too...
No, I wouldn't even say it was too.
Why is
Oh my God, I don't know. It was well, actually, no, the main thing about
Okay.
Sapporo is you don't feel like you're in Japan in Sapporo.
Okay.
It's,
All right.
it's
I think
so
I kind of might like that. I'm gonna try.
distinct. And it's so distinct from the rest of Japan.
Yeah.
You actually feel like you're part of a different culture, like
That's
not just
interesting.
a prefecturally different culture, but
Mm.
like almost like a country. And in a way, it is. It's a different island, right? And it's very
Yeah.
noticeable when
They've
you're
got
up there.
They got different routes.
They have very
the
different roots.
Ainu,
The Ainu
right?
roots, yeah. Like I said, it's a beautiful prefecture, beautiful city, loads of great things to do, and the people there are lovely. They're
Winter
really-
sports. You want
If
the
you
best
want- yeah, the
snow
best winter sports,
in
the best thing there.
Japan.
But if you're not a fan of the cold like me, you're not gonna really like it there.
Ooh, no.
Whereas
That's not for
Ibaraki
you.
actually has incredible climate compared to other parts of the country.
That's a good point. Where
Right?
you're in this kind of
you're in the
sweet
middle.
spot.
You're in the sweet spot in the middle,
Yeah.
right? Like people don't realize this, but you go outside of Ibaraki, and in the winters it's unbearably cold. You go outside of Ibaraki, and in the summers it's unbearably hot. I mean, it's hot right now, but if we were in Tokyo at this point in time, or anywhere in the West, without aircon, we'd be drenched in
Kyoto
yeah,
in summer
drenched
is
in sweat.
just cruel.
Yeah. So the other, the other areas north and south of Ibaraki get the extremes in the seasons, but we're kind of in that middle spot where it actually is really nice. Yeah. So even though Ibaraki gets a lot of bad press, quite comfortable.
Oh yeah, there's something
Quite
to be
nice.
said. There's something to be said
Quite
for
nice.
sure. I mean, where we are too, kind of like in terms of, I think the area is okay for earthquakes. Correct me if
That's
I'm
another
wrong.
great point. Yeah, very low tectonic activity.
Yeah,
Where
which
in Ibaraki?
In Ibaraki
you
compared to
know,
other areas.
you know you're in Japan when that's like a selling point.
Yeah,
Like,
right,
all my
right,
side
right.
they were like low tectonic activity. I was like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
goodness
I'll
for
take it.
that.
That's
Yeah,
decent.
bonus. Yeah.
But so Sapporo,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen pictures of it in like I don't know summer, I guess, and it just looks so lush.
Actually, the weather in
and so
Sapporo is
beautiful. Like
it's-
Canada.
It's,
It's
the
like a
best.
Canada
it's
of
the,
Japan.
the best weather in the summer
I bet.
in any
I
part
like
of the country.
perfect, right? Like
Well,
not
there's no
too
humidity.
hot.
There's no humidity.
Ah, okay, there it is. There it is.
There's,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not humidity. It's low humidity.
Right.
You know, there's 2 weeks every year where it's
Oh.
scorching and really unbearable.
Yeah.
But once you get to either side of those 2 weeks,
Hmm.
it's
Really
it's
nice.
dreamy. It's
Push
dreamy,
through.
yeah.
That would be cool. Again, so there you go. Things to in what is it? In praise of Sapporo, you got that, which is a big one.
And they have great food. If you're going to talk about Japanese
Seafood, right? Like they have good
stunning.
seafood, stunning. Yeah.
Have you been? You've not been there traveling either.
I went to Sapporo for the snow festival
Oh, you
3
did?
years ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I remember that. Now that you
Did you
say
enjoy
it.
it?
Yes,
Would you go back?
I would go back. Not for the snow festival necessarily. It was amazing, but I don't need to see it again. But I really want to go to Hokkaido to see more of it outside of Sapporo.
There's a lot, yeah.
Because it seems just like boundless nature.
There is. No, you're right. You're right. In the autumn, which is actually the time when I was there over summer and autumn.
Yeah.
It's stunning. It's stunning. Like it's breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah.
The weather. But then as soon as you get into winter, it's horrible. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize how much snow it is unless you're from.
It's the real deal.
It's
like Canadian,
Canadian,
Central Canadian.
Yeah, exactly.
Canadian.
Or like what's
Negative
is
25.
Minnesota? Is that the cold place in America?
That's I don't know. Is it?
Is it cold?
Oh, he doesn't even know.
I think so. You know, like really the snowy parts of the world. It's super.
For
snow
sure.
comes up to your doorstep.
Your door.
Like halfway cover up your door and stuff is, and that lasts for basically until April May. It's heavy snow.
That sounds tiresome.
So yeah, if you're not willing to live that kind of lifestyle, which I don't think I would be, it's not the place to be. And then you go to the other end, like Fukuoka, which is an amazing city as well. But then the summers are unbearable. And the summers last until November. Some stupidness like that. Okay,
several years before it changes the axis of the earth and they return to fall.
Days of scorching sun, nights of frost.
Children born in the summer years learn to fear the cold.
I was born in the sun.
Yeah, totally. That's Ursula K. Le Guin.
Oh.
She's got that in her books where the cycle of these planets, winters last 30 years, summers last 30 years, and so you could potentially like have never known it for like half your life. It's a cool concept.
Interesting.
Do you care for a little roastage on the campfire? Do you like that?
No.
Yeah. Wait, you're talking about hot dogs? What are you talking about?
Well, you could hot dog. Or you could marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
Yeah. I really like
That's
that.
Of course I do.
Or a s'more.
Can have some more.
You could have a s'more.
Can have some more.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna load up Akira drinks, but she doesn't drink too much.
Right.
Or have I created a false impression of that?
She
that
can
is her.
drink.
She can.
It's just rare that she does.
Okay, yeah. Unlike a few
Another topic.
women I know. No, I'm just kidding.
Skip that talk.
Oh yeah, we'll just we're not teetotal by any means. In fact, you were having a good few drinks last night. I anticipate in Kyoto that I'll probably be indulging a little bit. Definitely. I can't remember do you guys know what the famous lake is near Kyoto? Is it like
No.
Kyoto Lake.
pull that up?
Got it.
I'm loving this. Yeah, it's probably you got to hike or make a bit of a trip to it to get to it, but that's kind of the point. It's like Sembaki or like something like that.
Let me orient myself.
Yes. Let me pull that up there.
Is it this really big one in Shiga?
Okay.
Biwa.
Biwa. That's
incredibly famous.
I actually was going to say that.
That's probably the most famous lake in Japan. I think.
Is it?
Lake Biwa.
Okay, so maybe, I'm not absolutely certain, but I think that might be the lake that we'd go to camp at.
Oh,
and
sweet.
I would love to jump in the water there and go in for a few dips. That's just the best. And I love, I wax poetic on this for a little bit, but also just how quickly and naturally when you camp, how you become fatigued with the time of day. That for example, you'll have your day, you're chilling, the sun starts to go down, you make your dinner, maybe you go for a dip, you light the campfire,
The
you
fact
have
that you
great
have natural
combos.
light
That's what I mean. Your circadian rhythm just like locks in, and you'll always find yourself like, oh, all right, I am wiped. out, and you're like, it's 9 o'clock, and you're like, whoa, okay, that's But I enjoy that because I like how sleepy it makes you in the absence of the lights you have in your home, and shows that like that sort of warm light from a campfire really doesn't interfere with it at all. If anything, it seems to deepen it.
Make you sleepy.
Yeah. I also like, now I'm going on tangents because it's sparking connections in my brain for these kind of memories. I would always do you do the potatoes wrapped in tin foil and you bury them next to the fire, and then those get all roasty toasty. And then when you want to put the fire out for the evening, you then commandeer the rocks and you then like bury those under the sand on the beach, and you create like a warm like a stone mat.
This is all completely new.
Yeah.
I've been camping once in my life.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big camper.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's so awesome. I mean, I make it sound very idyllic when usually it's like excessive drinking, dehydration, waking with a face sunburned. It's been like out in the sun, waking. Like, I think he should probably cover his face. But, who am I to tell him what to do?
Sizzling away.
Yeah. What a great night,
My face hurt a little bit.
But those are just more memories that I have. I guess it's that kind of thing where you're so enjoying the experience for a kind of like its associative elements that it has. But I will say, write me at davetrippinon@gmail.com to get your questions answered. Thanks for dropping by, everybody. Really, thank you very much. Dan, Graham, for joining me for the 25th anniversary of the Interstice podcast.
Shouldn't I?
Why not?
Years.
Well, I want to use it in the sense of the podcast anniversary.
Okay.
Can I not? You've wasted valuable seconds. Yeah. So thank you very much to my patrons. You guys are awesome. If you don't support me there already, please consider doing so. Please drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to catch more of this.
This is it.